But there's something unique happening here. For the first time in gaming history, a next generation console has came out that is not going to be able to run next generation games even halfway through this generation's life cycle. This has never happened before.
Not apologetic news.
A lot has came out recently about the Xbox Series S. We did a video about it a couple weeks ago where I speculated that the Series S was an inferior console. Since then, so much stuff has came out about it. If for some reason you don't know, the Xbox Series S is one of Microsoft's next generation consoles. Now, we say next generation in quotes because the hardware inside is barely a half step above the previous generation. You can call it next generation all you want, but when it's not going to be capable of running next generation games, we kind of have a problem here. Already one of the top Google searches for Series X is how can I make my games run better on the Xbox Series S? Microsoft has a giant and important decision ahead of them that's really going to impact the future of their company, of everything that's going to happen, at least for this generation. This all started when a senior character technical artist from developer Rocksteady, who's working on the new Batman game, they came out and they called the Series S a potato. They said that when you're developing a game for Microsoft, it has to work on the X and the S. You can't just put it out on one. Normally that wouldn't be a problem because even if one's digital only, they're the same console, right? But not with this. He says that because of that, the whole game is only going to run at 30 frames per second. Because that's all this Series S is going to be able to handle with this particular game. Once that came out, it also came out that a lot of developers from a lot of different studios have started this sort of petition towards Microsoft saying, we need to remove that mandate. We need to make it to where we can just make games for the X, to where we can make some good games and not have it to where it also has to run on this Series S. And these Xbox boys are defending this console to the death of them. It's like, for one, they forget it. We're talking about video games here, right? Right. But this is their life. Some are already sending threats my way. You know, my email is public. Feel free to use it. Comment section is also below. So I've been getting threats about the last video. And what I'm about to say, this is not for the regular Xbox fans, right? This is for you obsessive Xbox nerds living in your grandma's basement. I want to say one thing, and I want to make sure I'm perfectly clear, so I'm going to word this very carefully. Every one of you can suck every last inch of my dick. And how's Horizon running for you guys? How's that running on your little console, by the way? That game is tremendous. Just a side note, I was entirely wrong about it. I'm in the middle of it right now. The main story, like the main missions on it, they're beautifully written. It's engaging. It's a good game. We're going to have to do a deep dive into that. But yeah, y'all can't even play Bloodborne. So what are we even talking about? Now, here's what the little baby bitches are saying in response to everyone coming out against the Series S. They're saying a couple of different things. First off, they're calling the developer who can only get 30 frames per second, they're saying it's lazy developers. This is their fake news. This is what they say when someone says something against their sacred little console. They're saying they should be able to scale the game down to be able to run 60 frames per second on both. And they're probably right. They should be able to do that, but they shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be the new and true, the big bad boy. Why are we treating the Series S like it's a decade old and we're having to force a game to run on it? I mean, are we talking about the Nintendo Switch or are we talking about the second biggest gaming console in the world? Get real, guys. Also, they're saying that, well, it works fine now, so this is fake news, right? Well, yeah, it may work fine now, but the problem is it's not going to work fine in the near future. It will be outdated and not able to process modern games, dummy.
So I got here some comments from the last video that our lovely fans have left.
Oh, about the when I was talking about the Series S. I read a few of those. Yeah. give me the top two. Give me the top couple.
This is one of the worst takes I've ever seen. And I have both Xbox and PlayStation. Wrong information on their part.
Yeah, that would be a response to where I said the Series S was last generation hardware. Sorry, buddy. Some people brought up the stats from whatever Xbox's last generation console was, and they're saying it's better than that. Sure, it might be better than that, but it's not as good as next generation.
Right.
Call it mid-generation. Call it what you want. It's a piece of garbage. What else they got?
This one says, yes, Game Pass is amazing, but I guess dealing with that is above you guys, so you do crap like this instead. But hey, more comedy gold is always welcome. Ha!
That's what we're here for, buddy.
Yeah.
We are here for comedy gold, and we are absolutely delighted you are a fan. I took that one positively. Maybe I spun that. Maybe that was my own insecurities. Do we got another one of these swell fellas who
this guy says I don't look like I want to do these lame ass videos with you anymore.
Oh, you? Yeah, he's probably right about that. But yeah, this is the
I
kind
love every second of this.
This is the kind of stuff, like the comment section from that video turned into an absolute cesspool.
Yeah, it is.
People started commenting like against other commenters, and they'd be like, he said Game Pass isn't profitable. Yeah, I heard that too. It's like, I didn't say that, dummy. I said it's going to make for garbage games if they put day one stuff on it. No one's going to want to put a lot of money into a day one game. It's simple stuff. Now, I don't expect you Xbox nerds to understand that. And like I say, at the end of the day, we're talking about video games, son. Sit your ass down. And hurrah, Holy hell. So, back to Microsoft's decision, I said that they're going to have to make, right? This is a difficult one on their part. So they got two choices as far as I'm concerned, unless they pull some sort of a Hail Mary. But here's their choices. They can release the mandate where you have to develop on both the S and the X. And then no one's going to make games for the S, right? Which is going to make everyone feel like they were conned who bought the Series S. You were conned. Or they decide to stick to their guns and say, no, if you want to put it on the X, it also has to be made on the S, which means you're never going to get any like groundbreaking next generation stuff because of that. They're going to cripple their current generation with Xbox, which is crazy. I actually think the truth is going to lie somewhere in between. I think about halfway through this generation, they're going to announce we're no longer supporting the Series S. And then they're going to move on. And people are going to be mad about it, sure. But see, the S is selling so well right now. I mean, I've seen as low as like a $200 price point. That should be a warning sign with a brand new next generation console. And it also got them a foot in Japan. It's making them millions, if not billions, especially you get yourself a cheap old Series S, you get yourself Game Pass. I mean, you're good to go, but let's be honest, that formula isn't for like gamers. That's for children. Like if you have a child, you buy the cheap one so you don't have to spend much money, you get the Game Pass and you let them parent your child. You know what I mean? It's not for real gamers. So a lot has gone on. And feel free. If any of y'all disagree, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. But in conclusion, I know we're making jokes, but there's something unique happening here, at least for gamers. If you're not a gamer, you don't care. But there's something unique happening here. For the first time in gaming history, a next generation console has came out that is not going to be able to run next generation games even halfway through this generation's life cycle. This has never happened before. Like I said before, maybe Xbox will stop conning you guys. Maybe you won't fall for it. It's easier to con a man than it is to convince him he's been conned, because then he has to admit to himself, hey, I'm a f***ing idiot, because that's what y'all are. We're going to keep you in the loop. We're going to keep you updated, and we're going to keep making videos like this. Everybody have a good day. I'm going to go back to playing Horizon. Too bad you can't. Good night, everybody.
Non-apologetic news. Non-apologetic news.